Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. This is my third of a series of 100 essential films based off of a scratch-off poster that I bought from my friend's store. Full transparency, I actually watched a different movie and it was one that I really wanted to like, but I was like half paying attention, so I feel like I need to give it another chance, so we'll review that at a later time. So instead, let's get right into movie number 3, which is going to be The Matrix. Obviously, all of these movies on this list are like classics, and majority of them I've heard about them and heard people talk to them. They're referred to all the time. But like this is one that came out, it came out in 1999, so I was 8 when it came out, so like I was pretty young. But I've never watched it. It's referenced all the time, and I have a problem with waiting too long to watch some things, especially things that have a lot of hype behind it. I'll end up waiting too long, and when I watch it, it's like a letdown because I let it build up so much that the hype just doesn't match what I expected. So I was a little nervous about this one. However, I can honestly say that it totally lived up to the hype. To talk about what the movie's about a little bit, most of you probably already know, but if you don't, the movie kind of follows something that I feel like we're closer to than ever before. I do feel like, there's a lot of futuristic books and movies, and I feel like we're not as close as some of those predicted around this time frame. However, I do feel like we're getting there, and when we get there, it's going to be on an accelerated curve. You know what I mean? It's not that far off, and to some extent I feel like we're already kind of there because we kind of live online. You know what I mean? Because the premise of this movie is that AI has taken over, and the world that we think about, the regular world, is a simulated reality, which, it kind of does feel like we are basically living in that moment right now. This is all online. I'm literally talking to myself in front of a camera, so we're halfway there, I feel like it. It's kind of a trip. The main character is Keanu Reeves, who freaking fantastic. We love him. He works some corporate job by day, but he's a computer hacker by night. His real name is Thomas Anderson, and then his hacker name is Neo. And he just knows that something is off, but can't quite put his finger on it. And then he's essentially taken down this rabbit hole that leads him to the truth. And, we all know the infamous red pill or blue pill situation. He's presented with that, which is essentially, if you're not familiar, the red pill you take and, the veil is lifted and you find out the real truth and you can't go back. Whereas the blue pill you can take and continue to live the life you know, and you never have to, think that there is something else going on. So a little bit more ignorance is bliss. I will say that I feel like my whole life I've been living in the blue pill type reality, and it's only been in the last year or so that I've really been nope, give me the red pill. Whatever it is, I'd rather know and figure it out from there. It is uncomfortable, and it is do I really want to mess up the la la land that I live in, or the comfort that I feel? And I get both ways. Reality is harsh sometimes and hard to deal with. Yeah, I just feel like I'm in a place now that I'd rather take the red pill. Have you guys thought about it? Let me know in the comments if you would take the red or the blue pill.
This is your red pill or blue pill moment, my friend.
I also thought that the cast was fantastic. By the time this movie came out, I'm sure that Keanu was a household name, as well as Lawrence Fishburne. Some of the other actors also looked familiar, but I kind of liked that most of them I wasn't like super familiar with their other work, it like just made the casting a lot cooler. That like, yes, we did have like a couple big names, but like, I don't know about you, but I feel like Keanu Reeves is, like he is a movie star, but he kind of is perfect for this role because he totally can pass as that regular guy.
Are you Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
And then at the same time, he totally can pull off the like superhero type vibes.
I never cower in the face of danger.
He's just like so versatile.
How's it going, Bill and Ted? Ted, it's us again.
I feel like this one is probably one of his biggest. And I just thought he was perfect casting. I honestly thought everybody was. They did a great job with it. The overall vibes of the movie was so cool. Like, it has that grungy, cool vibes, and I really enjoyed it. And the effects, like I remember like one of the things you hear about this movie is how there was like so many like groundbreaking effects to this movie, and I thought that I watched it like literally over 1999, 2009, 2009, over 2 decades later, that it would be like so cheesy looking, but I thought they were so cool. Like, I thought it really held up. Now I can like think of other movies and like know that the inspiration kind of came from there. I will say like my like taste in movies can be all over the place, and I do like a good action movie, especially something like this where there's a good balance of like an interesting storyline and like the action kind of just goes smoothly, because I feel like a lot of movies there's these like big action scenes and it's just like kind of like showcasing how much budget that the movie had. Not to be like rude, but like I remember watching Superman vs. Batman, I think like years ago, and I was just like, why is it just a fight scene after a fight scene after a fight scene? Like, there's no plot, it's just them blowing shit up. Whereas like I thought this movie, there was a good balance of like storyline and action, and when there was action it was like cool. Again, the vibes were cool, and it like made sense with what was going on in the movie, and not these just like break time for a fight scene situation. I will say that the one thing that I kind of like, it was like really not something I like hated. I actually liked that the like romance wasn't a big thing in the movie. Like, you could tell there was a little something, but it was like not harped on. It was just like you can feel it. One of the later scenes in the movie, there was a moment, and I thought it was very like cheesy, but it was also kind of like a classic, movie thing that happens. So in that regard, like I didn't hate it, but I also just was like, that was real cheesy. But I will say that I appreciated that it wasn't like, oh, this crazy romance throughout the whole movie. Like, it was there, but it wasn't like shoved in your face. It was like done in a very subtle way until the end. So now that I finally watched this movie, I totally get the hype and why it's on this list. I understand like all the references and like why it's held up after all these years. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a fun watch. I like that it's like, heady and cerebral. It makes you think, especially now. I'm sure then, but all the more now when we live in this like, in Chat GPT, like AI becoming more and more prominent world. Also just like the concept of, you have the power to decide and like really like manifest your reality. I just think it's such a great message. Again, the vibes, immaculate, so cool, and like a great balance of like action and like pacing of the movie. It was like just over 2 hours, which I think is like perfect for this kind of a movie. If we don't know, because I feel like I've mentioned it somewhere, if not everywhere, that I don't love when a movie is like more than 2.5 hours long, especially if it's like in that like really pushing the 3 hour mark. it's not my thing, but like between the like 1.5 to just over 2 hours, perfect. Love that. So I don't know if I'm going to continue the series because I think there's like 4 of them now, because I really liked this one and I'm like afraid that I won't love the other ones, but I also like want to see what's next in the story. So if you have seen the Matrix series, let me know if I should continue it. But yeah, I would say overall, I would rate this a 4.5 stars out of 5. But that is it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. If you're interested in these movie reviews, please subscribe because I have 97 more to go. Alright y'all, until next time, bye!
Maybe it's too soon, yeah, you know we just met. What I got to lose, gonna send the address.